Welcome to Melfina's Magic, Crochet, Cooking, etc. I'm going to do a book review on an Afghan kit from Mary Maxim. It comes with a book titled Make Your First with Leisure Arts Knit Baby Afghans, 10 Afghan Projects for True Beginners. And it comes with 2 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. It's a 4-weight, medium 4-weight yarn. It uses a 5.5 millimeter hook. The color is spearmint. And each ball has 10 ounces, 283 grams, 482 yards, 442 meters, or 440 meters of this beautiful self-striping ombre color. And I received 2 of these kits from a mystery sender and 2 mystery bags of yarn with an invoice that simply says, "From your secret pal." And I'm going to review the Afghan book because it's really cute. It has an introduction and a list of contents. And it's full of basic skill level baby Afghans. And it has instructions in the back for how to do all the stitches that are in it. The first blanket featured, it goes over yarn weights, getting started, going over yarn weights. It goes over a color chart so you can get an idea of what colors might work together. It talks about gauge and making gauge swatches and how important it is to use the same needles you plan on using for your project. It's important that you use the same yarn for your gauge swatch as for your project and not the same brand in a different color, because different dyes can affect how a specific yarn knits up. And believe it or not, a yarn in one color can give you a different gauge from the same yarn in a different color. That's pretty cool. I wasn't aware that the color made that much of a difference, but apparently it sometimes does. I do know that white yarns tend to be fluffier and dark yarns tend to be stiffer, but I hadn't noticed the difference in yarn size that extreme. It talks about all the different things you probably want to have before you start: needles, row counters, darning needles, and a ruler. And it goes through a bunch of hints and tips. With titles like, "I'm a brand spanking new knitter, where do I start? Why is yarn choice important? When I add a new ball of yarn to an ombre yarn, do I start in the same color place? Are chevron stitches giving you trouble? I love this Afghan, but I want it to be bigger or smaller." Love the stitch pattern, but not the variegated yarn. Save your stitches. What is a lifeline and how do I use it? Don't get lost. Look at your work. Biggest piece of advice for beginners is count your stitches. What is tinking? In tinking, to tink is to unknit your work stitch by stitch. If you find a mistake, then you can back up one stitch at a time to the mistake. It's like frogging for crochet. I didn't know they called it something different. Do I have to use circular needles? I hate weaving in ends. What can I do? Oh no, there's a knot in my yarn. I made changes, but I can't remember what I did. What is intarsia? How to count cable rows. And then it starts with the different stitches. The garter stitch is the basic. And then the cartridge stitch. That's beautiful in an ombre. The simple stockinette, garters and garter stitch. Knit and purl weave. Simple reversible. Garter squares. You can practice changing colors. And that's what it looks like full size. And then there's a bold chevron, which has lines running through the chevron vertically and separator lines for a little bit extra texture. And this is the butterfly kisses. It looks like it's got butterflies woven into it. And this is my favorite. This is the one I plan to try. The ombre lace. The close-up. That's beautiful. And then there's a general introduction and a whole list of the stitches being explained, showing you how to cast on and showing you how to cast off and showing you how to do all the stitches that are used in the patterns. They make it pretty easy for you to see what you're supposed to be doing.
I love you.
Trash, please.
No, about him first. Are you paying attention to the movie?
Yep.
Are you goofy?
And if you've watched this all the way through, tell me which is my favorite one of the patterns, and I intend to make my blanket out of. And you can win my second copy of this book. But you have to get it right. Thank you for joining me today to review this book and see my yarns. I'm going to separate the rest of the video and do the 2 mystery bags separate. Have a nice day. I hope you paid attention to the video.